Transworld Airlines, the iconic carrier that helped define the golden age of air travel, did not succumb to fierce competition or economic downturns. Instead, it was methodically hollowed out and plundered by an owner who personally profited over $1 billion as the company collapsed. Imagine the desert air of Glendale, California in 1929, thick with the smell of exhaust and the roar of radial engines as flimsy biplanes prepare for their cross-country flights. This was the nascent world of Transcontinental and Western Air (TWA), born from the merger of three small airlines. Their mission was ambitious: connect coast to coast, faster and more reliably than ever before. Early visionaries like Jack Fry and Paul Richter pushed the boundaries, adopting revolutionary aircraft like the Douglas DC-3 in 1935, which transformed air travel from a dangerous adventure into a comfortable routine experience. But the real game-changer arrived in 1939 when the enigmatic billionaire Howard Hughes, through his Hughes Tool Company, quietly began acquiring shares, eventually taking a controlling 78% stake. Hughes wasn't just an investor, he was a visionary and a perfectionist, pushing TNWA into an era of unprecedented innovation. He personally influenced the design of the sleek, powerful Lockheed Constellation, a four-engine marvel introduced in 1944, which made transatlantic flights not just possible, but glamorous. In 1946, recognizing its global ambitions, TNWA rebranded to Transworld Airlines, or TWA. It became a symbol of American post-war might, its routes extending across the Atlantic to Europe, the Middle East, and Asia. TWA's stewardesses, clad in elegant uniforms, served gourmet meals in cabins designed for luxury. Hughes poured money into the airline, often at great personal expense, but his increasingly eccentric behavior and refusal to delegate strained relationships and operations. By the late 1950s, his tight control and reluctance to finance new jet aircraft put TWA at a disadvantage against rival Pan Am. The situation reached a breaking point, and in 1961, amidst antitrust pressures and a need for capital, Hughes was forced to divest his control. He sold his 78% stake, then valued at an astonishing $546 million, to a voting trust. His departure marked the end of an era, but even as TWA soared to new heights, a shadow loomed. The very vision that built the airline also sowed the seeds of its future instability, leaving it vulnerable to new predators. Step onto the vibrant tarmac of John F. Kennedy Airport in the mid-1960s. The air hums with the distant whine of jet engines. The scent of kerosene mixes with the excited chatter of passengers, all dressed in their Sunday best, gazing up at the elegant curves of the new TWA Flight Center, a masterpiece designed by Eero Saarinen. TWA was a powerhouse, adopting Boeing 747 jumbo jets in the early 1970s, expanding its domestic network with strategic hubs like St. Louis. It was a golden age for air travel, and TWA was at its glittering peak, a global icon connecting continents and cultures. But beneath the polished veneer, seismic shifts were underway. The Airline Deregulation Act of 1978 unleashed fierce competition. New low-cost carriers emerged. Price wars erupted, and the industry transformed into a brutal battle for market share. TWA, with its high operating costs and legacy structure, struggled. Its financial health deteriorated, making it an attractive target. Enter Carl Icahn. In 1985, the notorious corporate raider launched a hostile takeover, acquiring TWA for $700 million, largely financed by leveraging the airline itself with billions in junk bonds. Icahn, a master of the leverage buyout, promised to turn TWA around, to make it competitive again. He quickly took over as CEO, pledging to restore profitability and secure the airline's future. This was the lie. Instead of investing in the airline, Icahn began stripping its assets. In 1988, he took TWA private, using the company's own cash reserves and future earnings to repay the debt incurred during the takeover, effectively extracting a significant personal profit. He forced unions to accept massive wage and benefit concessions, promising that these sacrifices would save the company. But behind the scenes, the stripping continued. In 1991, TWA's most valuable assets, its lucrative London routes, acquired through decades of strategic maneuvering, were sold off to American Airlines for $445 million. This was a critical blow, effectively severing TWA's umbilical cord to its international past. Khan, the supposed savior, had hollowed out the airline, leaving it burdened with crippling debt and starved of essential resources. As the glamour faded and the debts mounted, TWA, once a symbol of American might, found itself at the mercy of forces far beyond its control, inching closer to an inevitable collapse. Walk through a desolate, dimly lit terminal in the mid-1990s. The vibrant red logo of TWA still glows, but fewer planes sit at the gates, and the once bustling crowds have thinned. The hum of anticipation has been replaced by an eerie quiet, the lingering scent of old coffee, and a company on its last legs. Carl Icahn finally relinquished control of TWA in 1992, but not before extracting an estimated $1.9 billion in personal profit through various deals, leaving the airline with an astonishing $5 billion in debt. Almost immediately, TWA filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy in 1992, followed by another filing in 1995. The airline was trapped in a death spiral, unable to invest in new aircraft, modernize its service, or compete effectively. Its image, once synonymous with elegance, deteriorated into one of aging planes and frequent delays. Then came the catastrophe that broke its spirit. TWA Flight 800. On July 17, 1996, a Boeing 747 bound for Paris exploded shortly after takeoff from JFK, killing all 230 people on board. The investigation pointed to an electrical short circuit causing a fuel tank explosion, but public confidence was shattered. The disaster, combined with the lingering perception of a struggling, unsafe airline, dealt a devastating blow to TWA's bookings and reputation. Despite attempts at a turnaround, including a major fleet renewal program and improvements in service, the financial damage was too deep, the debt too immense, and the public trust too eroded. On January 10, 2001, for the third and final time, TWA filed for bankruptcy. American Airlines acquired the remains for a mere $742 million, and by December 1, 2001, the TWA name disappeared from airport screens and the skies forever. The story of TWA isn't just about an airline's demise. It's a stark reminder that even the most ambitious visions can be undone by unchecked greed and short-sighted financial maneuvering, leaving behind only the ghost of former glory.